Heyo people, welcome to the final Abyss 2, Lightning. You know the drill. All of your skills other than lightning are nerfed, in the hardest mode your damage is 0, and you'll need to farm 1,000 materials to craft a Hermes weapon. Classes that can be played as main DPS with lightning include Guardian, Grenadier, Bard, Holy Sword, Lancer, Guitar, and Starcaller. One small oddity to note here is that the Abyss is in the glowing floodplain dungeon, which is a map you can't access until you reach level S10. So if you want a nice little 95 weapon, you do still need an S10 character to run. As usual, there are 3 modes, one for the 95 weapon, one for the S15 weapon, and one for the S35. The timer is a buff on your screen. You have 15 minutes, but there are only 3 waves and bosses, so I'd say this is still easier time-wise than Holy was. I was surprised how smoothly the first wave and boss in the hardest mode went on my gunslinger here. Shockingly easier than the Storm Abyss was, even without pulling out all the stops. But once the second boss spawns, you have to start dealing with the Silence lightning fields. Your choices are basically to either be strong enough to nuke the boss before you worry about it, tank the Silence, or swap immunity Eidolons constantly to avoid the downtime. Either way, if I personally want to get my hands on the lightning weapon for my recently capped Starcaller, I'll be stopping after the second set of mobs. Anyway, speaking of abysses, as a part of a somewhat random 3-part ensemble of an event, the so-called A Challenger Interesting event includes an extra drop from the bosses in the Whirlpool Abyss and Abyss 2, so if you're farming for a Hebe weapon, take advantage of that. The second part of this strange event is that gold quality food and drink items will buff your monster kill experience by 20%. Your buff bar will not list it, but you can see it in your detail stats. And yes, you can use both food and a drink for 40%. The last part is for Gaia Chronicle, which I have not thought about in a while. The level's stamina requirement is halved, so if you too are just now remembering that some levels have LP rewards for running them 20 or 15 times, it's a great chance to catch up on them. If you haven't run Chronicle in a while, as a reminder of how it works, it's easy enough to let it auto-run in the background while you do other stuff, but it won't accept the final result and complete without a hands-on interaction at the end. So make sure you click through the end screen before changing maps, if, say, you're running it at the same time as dungeons. You get rewards like pets or Eidolon food just from running it, and the merit tokens can be exchanged in Navia for various pet-related or early-game accessory-related lucky packs. Next up, Nightmares. As promised, the Gate of the Spirit Realm Nightmare was properly extended, so you still can get your hands on a manual or nice emblem equipment, but just be careful to watch your inventory closely. The Necromancer Exchange token inherits your oldest timer in your inventory. So, 21 days after your first drop, all of them in your inventory will expire. After picking up my manual, I tossed my extra to start again to go for the emblem box. You still have time to start from 0 from the day this video is published to get one of the 35 exchange rewards, but it is a 0 damage dungeon and you need to play in party mode for the correct exchange item. As for the other nightmare that was added, the Gates of Hell in Oblitus Wood, this is not a 0 damage dungeon. Unfortunately, it also doesn't really have any impressive rewards. It's got the usual mount and accessory bags, but unlike the other nightmares, it does not have a permanent proof buff item. In party mode, you can attack the poison-producing thingy on the right path and just kill all the mobs to remove the clouds, or you can use an immunity Eidolon to run through it and just head straight for the first boss, which is also the hardest boss in the dungeon since he can perma-stun you with the crystal he summons. Use an immunity Eidolon to avoid being rooted and silenced by it, then take out the mobs he spawns to make him vulnerable. The rest of the bosses are trivial in comparison. Moving along, we have a world boss, Qingniao, the Bluebird of Happiness, out in Canditon Hill, and she is not one of the big suffering kind of bosses. She has no blood armor, just 5 life bars. I soloed her in about 2 minutes. It seems when she turns you into a bird, it doesn't actually silence you either, and healing skills were working normally, and sometimes I can even continue attacking too. Her reward box has her fragments, key, secret stones, LP, a mount in orange and gold quality, mastery boxes, level 90 enchantments, and dragon point vouchers. It might not be super luxurious, but she is easy enough to handle without a team of super whales. That being said, my scrub could not solo her. I put her on par with the old Harmonia that used to be in the Silent Icefield, and her respawn timer is 4 hours. I tested on 2 channels and she did respawn on both, so it may well be 100%. Next up, we have the Valentine's Day costume event. Head over to Demarech Mines and speak to Liam, the ghost by the portal, to start. There's some cute face costumes, new non-archivable ones and older archivable ones, and some nice furniture including wall art. If you skip through the first quest like I did, you won't see what you're supposed to do, which is head all the way across the map to kill some miracle rock beetles for miracle ore, which you can then open to find the pink stones you need to refine the ring. From there it's straightforward enough, but don't bother farming any extra to skip the run across the map for next day because they will be removed from your inventory when you finish the quest. We have the 2 diviner buffs up again this patch. You have Novi wandering around in Crescent Hill and Fernando in Navia, each offering a daily 3-hour buff. For Novi, you get a random scroll. Each scroll inside has buffs and debuffs. Open the box to see what you get, then it's up to you to decide whether you want to take the debuff and activate it. For Fernando, you can pick which buff you want, or take the random box, which has a chance of dropping the wish list, which has all of the effects combined. You can use both Novi and Fernando's at the same time, but the trigger items will only last an hour in your inventory, so you can't stock up for later. Just use them right away. Rapid fire round. Eidolon links now contain heart bonding, upgraded emblems, and instead of the small emblem treasure box, they drop the large emblem treasure box. It also says the key fragment and statue rate has been increased, but your mileage may vary here. If you do not want heart bondings, which are 10-minute buffs for move speed, HP, and damage taken reduction, maybe save your connection sprites for later. For cooking, you'll get an extra item for a perfect completion of the minigame, meaning 3 items per craft. Great time to work on gold food for Eidolons. And Fish Kings will also give an extra fish per catch. Nice. We also have Hansel and Gretel, Tyr, Undine, and Amaterasu soul fragments at Gaia. 4 fragments makes a guild hall summon you can use for a chance at their fragments. Anyway, that is it for this time. We do now have all the abysses, so it's time for me to report on my favorite, I think. It's the Dark Abyss. It's got the right balance of mobs, possible drops per run, and the fact that you don't have a timer beyond the stacks, which if you can tank, you're fine. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching and we'll catch you next time.